The Jedi Order stood for 1,000 years on a foundation of truth and justice, while its leader lived a lie every day. We know Yoda as the wise sage who trained generations of heroes, yet in a galaxy full of detailed archives and star maps, his file remains empty. This is not an accident, but a calculated cover-up. The mystery involves more than just where he came from, because the real puzzle is why he ensured nobody could ever find it. The Grand Master of the Jedi kept a secret so dangerous that he seemingly let the Order fall, rather than reveal the truth about his home world. In Attack of the Clones, Obi-Wan Kenobi discovers that the planet Kamino has been erased from the Jedi Archives. He rightfully calls this dangerous, while missing the larger implication. If a Jedi Master can delete a planet to hide a clone army, someone must have deleted Yoda's homeworld as well. The archives contain data on billions of stars, yet the system shows nothing for the most powerful Jedi in history? Someone with the highest clearance removed it. Yoda did not just forget where he was born, because he actively scrubbed the data. He knew that if the galaxy found his people, the war would change forever. Before revealing why he hid it, we need to thank the people who made this video possible. We chose this specific topic because of your comments on our last video. A huge thank you goes to everyone who asked about Yoda's origins, since this video would not exist without your ideas. We look at every single suggestion, so please write down any wild theories you have for Star Wars in the comments below. The most liked comment will become our next script. If you are enjoying this detailed analysis, please like and subscribe to help us keep making these videos, as it truly helps the channel grow. Consider the 3 members of this species seen in canon, including Yoda, Yaddle, and Grogu. Every single one of them is strong with the Force, which is hardly a coincidence. Most species, like humans or Twi'leks, produce a Jedi once in a billion births. For Yoda's kind, the Force seems to be a natural trait rather than a rare gift. Even as a baby, Grogu could lift massive beasts, so an entire planet of beings likely shares that potential. If the Jedi Council found a world where every inhabitant had the power of a master, they would want to recruit them all. That specific outcome is what Yoda feared most. If the Jedi could find this planet, then the Sith could find it as well. Palpatine discovering a world populated by hundreds of Force-sensitive beings who live for 9 centuries would be catastrophic. He would not just wipe them out, but instead corrupt them. A Sith army made of Yoda's species would be unstoppable and rule the galaxy for millennia. By keeping his home a secret, Yoda was engaging in a strategic defense rather than mere privacy. He knew the only way to keep his people safe was to ensure they did not exist on any map. He chose to be the only target, so they could remain safe in the shadows. For a long time, fans wondered about Yaddle after she sat on the Council in The Phantom Menace, and then vanished. We recently learned in Tales of the Jedi that she died at the hands of Count Dooku. Her role before her death suggests she was the only other member of her kind allowed in the public eye. She and Yoda likely had a pact where they never spoke of their home to the other masters. They rarely interacted on screen and kept their distance to avoid raising curiosity by speaking their native language. Yaddle took the secret to her grave and protected their world, even as Dooku cut her down. When the Jedi Order fell, Yoda went into exile on Dagobah. While it seemed he chose it simply because it was remote, the location holds a deeper significance. Dagobah is a swamp world, teeming with life and moisture, which matches the biology of an amphibian species perfectly. Dagobah likely resembles his true homeworld, so he chose it for familiarity and comfort in his final years. It also served as a decoy, because the Empire might find Dagobah while hunting for his biological signature and stop looking. He used a fake home to hide the real one, and buried his ship in the swamp to ensure he could never lead anyone back to the true source. Emperor Palpatine feared losing his power above all else and became obsessed with immortality. He knew Yoda was nearly 900 years old, so the Jedi Master's species represented the biological key to eternal rule. If Palpatine had known where to find more of them, he would have dissected every single one to access their genetic code. Yoda sensed this greed in the Chancellor long before the war ended. The secret protected the Jedi, while simultaneously denying the Sith the method for eternal life. If the Emperor found that planet, the Empire would likely never end. During the darkest days of the Clone Wars, the Jedi were outnumbered, as droids were produced by the millions, while Jedi died daily. Yoda faced a massive temptation because he knew there was a planet full of powerful Force users who could shift the war's momentum. He could have called them, since 100 warriors like Yoda might have destroyed the Separatist army in a week. He refused this option and watched his friends die while the Republic burned, rather than expose his people to the galaxy. It was a cold and calculated sacrifice, where he chose to let the Jedi Order suffer to keep his homeworld safe. Erasing a planet is clearly possible since Dooku did it, but Yoda likely erased an entire sector rather than a single system. The region of space where his planet exists is probably marked as unstable, or a black hole cluster in navigational computers. He likely used his status as Grand Master to falsify survey data, so any explorer attempting to travel there would see a warning and turn back. This explains why no smuggler or bounty hunter ever stumbled upon it by accident. The map was rigged with false warnings, planted by the one man everyone trusted, rather than simply being left empty. In the Season 6 finale of the Clone Wars, Yoda travels to the center of the galaxy, to a world called the Wellspring of Life, which is the birthplace of midi-chlorians. Yoda's species might live on a world directly connected to this cosmic energy, rather than a normal planet. They could be the guardians of the Force itself, so revealing their location would be catastrophic. Doing so would effectively hand the keys of the universe to the dark side. Yoda was likely hiding the source of the Force itself, rather than merely concealing a village. The presence of Grogu at the Jedi Temple complicates this secrecy. If the planet is a secret, then Grogu was likely not given willingly. He might have been found by a Jedi Seeker who ignored Yoda's warnings, or taken by someone else entirely? Once Grogu was in the system, Yoda could not send him back without revealing the location. He was forced to keep the child close and train him at the temple for protection. Grogu served as a piece of evidence that Yoda had to guard with his life, rather than just another student. When Order 66 occurred and the clones turned on the Jedi, Yoda felt thousands of lives vanish. He could have revealed his homeworld to flee there and taken the surviving younglings to a sanctuary where the Empire could not follow. He refused to do so because he knew Vader would track him. Vader would bring the entire Imperial fleet to that location. Yoda let the Jedi Order die completely to save his species. He went to Dagobah to live in difficult conditions, ensuring the Empire never turned its gaze toward his true people. In The Mandalorian, the Remnant Empire desperately hunts Grogu because they lost the original source. They need his blood to engineer artificial Force sensitivity, which indicates Palpatine never found the homeworld. Even with all his spies and dark magic, the Emperor died without knowing where Yoda came from. This confirms that Yoda's deception was successful. The Empire must scrape together genetic material from a single child, because the planet of Masters remains hidden. Grogu's suffering is the direct result of his world's safety. Yoda trained Luke Skywalker, but kept the secret, even from him. Luke was the new hope for the Jedi, yet Yoda never told him to go to his world for help. He let Luke believe he was the last of the Jedi because he saw a significant risk in the boy. He recognized the same impulsiveness that Anakin possessed. If Luke knew about an army of powerful beings, he might have tried to use them to fight the Empire. Yoda knew that involving his people in war leads to darkness. He died in his hut, leaving Luke alone to protect his secret until his final breath. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie, coming to theaters in May 2026, makes this secret increasingly relevant. Grogu is becoming a Mandalorian apprentice rather than just a Jedi, and walks a path Yoda never intended. If Grogu decides to find his true home, he might undo everything Yoda worked for, by accidentally leading a new threat to their location. The main concern is no longer where the planet is located, but whether Grogu serves as the key that finally reveals the map. This theory shifts the perspective on Yoda from a funny master speaking in riddles to a guardian protecting a terrible power. He lived 900 years, trained 20,000 Jedi, and watched his civilization fall while holding a mental block over the one thing that mattered most to him. He died alone on a swamp world so his people could live in peace. This was not a betrayal of the Jedi, but an act of love for a home he could never see again. Yoda's secret remains one of the greatest mysteries in storytelling and proves that what is hidden is often more powerful than what is shown. His silence protected a world that could have broken the galaxy. If you enjoyed this exploration, please subscribe to catch our next breakdown. We have major theories coming up about the new movies that are worth seeing. May the Force be with you.